I'm Franklin Parker with Directional Advisors. It's the week of April 14th, and here's what I care about this week. Well, the big news this week for investors is still Trump's tariff regime. After announcing sweeping tariffs on every country in the world last week, Trump walked back some of that by giving a 90-day pause to everyone except China. And then on Friday, he exempted some consumer electronics, including smartphones and computers and some computer chips, from those tariffs with China. So, this is an ongoing saga that is updated daily, and investors are watching it very closely because it has very big consequences for both the economy as well as the bottom line of profits. Now, if global tariffs do wind up being rolled back across the board, except with China, so the current path that we are on, I do still see a recession for the United States. However, I don't believe it will be as bad as I feared last week when we had sweeping tariffs on the entire world. Now, in other news, earnings season has begun. No one's really talking about it because there are bigger news items. But investors are going to be dissecting those earnings reports very closely, both for where the earnings are coming from right now, as well as what the outlook is, especially in the new tariff regime for many companies. Overall, we expect companies to grow earnings by about 10% over this time last year, which, look, is very good earnings growth. That is above average earnings growth. The question for investors will be, can this continue? And of course, there is the economic data to consider, which is still ongoing. On the upside, last week we got inflation, which was below what we expected, still higher than the Fed's target 2% rate. But if that continues to downtrend, then that would free the Fed to be able to deal with market sell offs and economic slowdowns in a more effective way. If it doesn't, if prices continue to move higher, that kind of ties the hands of the Fed and slows down what they're able to do in a typical stagflationary environment, which is what we talked about last week. Now, listen, I've got more about all of this on the website, including a look at the effective tariff rate of U.S. imports currently from where they were last time. So go check that out on the website. But in the meantime, get out there and live well.